Hello, this is Ken Ferrie with this week's Boots in the Field report. Back in the saddle after a great family vacation. Man, it was great to see the different rainfall amounts that happened while I was gone. Getting reports from 1 to 3.5 inches. Walking the campus here, looks like it came down slow enough that it all soaked in. I'm coming home from Chicago. A number of places did have water standing, especially in that storm path up there by Kankakee, Illinois. Our prayers go out to everyone affected by that storm. That looked like a doozy. Most wheat fields have improved while I was gone, but the jerk in temperatures last week was hard on some fields. So time will tell as far as how well they snap back from that. Getting some nitrogen questions coming into the office. Due to price, some guys cut out or pulled back on the MAP and DAP and the AMS last fall. And many put on their N, all their N, as anhydrous ammonia last fall due to that price difference between liquid and smoke. The challenge we face now is the carbon penalty that we're going to face this spring. With the dry fall and cold winter temperatures, not much residue breakdown has taken place in our corn or bean stubble. Many cornstalk fields look like they did a week after harvest. Usually by this time we can see a lot of black stalks and pretty good, or at least better, decomposition of the leaves. The carbon penalty will be stronger here in central Illinois this year due to the low amount of fall decomposition. We typically get the advantage of some decomp in September through November, but with the drought conditions, very little of this took place. Our carbon penalty in central Illinois will be like what the farmers in Minnesota deal with every year. Many times when they finished up harvest, the ground is already cold. We need warm temperatures, moisture, and time to drive decomposition in the fall. The more we decompose the residue in the fall, the less we have to deal with in the spring. During this period, soil microbes consume large amounts of N, P, and sulfur to fuel the decomposition. This is when the corn and the small beans stall out, stop growing, and typically pale up in color. While it's hard to tag this directly to yield in beans, it will clip corn yields if the corn stalls too long. Typically, we call this the ugly corn stage, and it usually happens the end of May, early June when I'm going to Canada fishing. This is when soil temperatures are at or above 60 degrees, and we have microbial explosion in the soil, that rapid population growth. This explosion in population happens at the surface where the fence post rots off, where the residue and the oxygen and where the microbes all come together. Our studies here in central Illinois show us that it takes about 60 pounds of N minimum placed where the fence post rots off for bean stubble to pay this carbon penalty, and a minimum of 100 pounds when we're in corn on corn. Typically, we take what was surface applied as our fall fertilizer, let's say 30, 40 pounds, and then add more surface applied spring nitrogen to it to get to that minimum for our crop rotation. The other option is to band nutrients next to the plant to keep it happy while this explosion is taking place. When it comes to keeping small plants happy, inches matter. Staying within 2 to 3 inches of the row makes a big difference, so those crown roots can find this N in that band before the carbon penalty kicks in. And during, I guess. Banding some N with the planter or a row freshener allows you to cut these minimums in half. Here lies the problem. If we drop the dry last fall and put all of our N needs on as anhydrous ammonia, we have nothing to fight the carbon penalty stage. The NH3 band is too deep. It's below where the fence post rots off. Corn roots will have to grow to it to pick it up. The challenge is roots need to grow to find the nitrogen, but the carbon penalty has them stalled out, kind of in a catch-22. In corn on beans, it amounts to slowing the growth in a pale green color. If you did a poor job of spreading the bean plumies behind the combine, you'll see yellow streaks where the corn is planted into that heavier residue underneath the combine. And this could last 3 to 4 weeks. In corn on corn, we get ugly corn, stunting, yellowing, and this coloring and stunting could last 6 to 8 weeks, hence the ugly corn period. Unfortunately, the amount of N on last fall doesn't fix this. It's not an amount issue, it's a placement issue. Fall anhydrous doesn't usually kick in until corn is knee to waist high. One conversation with the grower, he normally puts on 220 total pounds of N, splits it between his dry, spring broadcast, and side dress. This year he has no dry put on, but he did put 250 pounds of N on as fall anhydrous. His question is, will he still need to worry about the carbon penalty with the extra 30 pounds of nitrogen he has on? The answer is yes. His corn will stall out for a period this spring. The question is, how much will this ding yield? Hard to say. In our plots, corn on beans, not uncommon to see 15 to 20 bushel. With the G and L1 hybrids, it could get to be 15 to 30 bushel. And it gets a lot worse in corn on corn. The grower says his neighbor told him he has corn turn yellow every year, and he says it never affects yield. Yeah, if you don't check it, you'll never know. Ignorance is bliss. If yellow corn in the spring is your MO, you just don't feel right without having some yellow corn, I would not plant G or L1 hybrids, those that flex in girth and early length. As our thoughts turn to spring tillage, getting the seedbed ready, remember, 80% of the compaction calls I will go on this next summer will be caused by the first pass in the spring. Yes, the one you're getting ready to make. Don't let the coffee shop or your neighbor set when you go to the field. Make the decision based on your own field conditions. The sins of spring keep on giving all season long. You're about to plant the highest yielding crop of your career. Don't shoot yourself in the foot right out of the gate. Teams are pulling spring sampling. Don't forget to get your spring sample testing needs turned in if you haven't already. And let's get those seed samples sent off if you haven't already there as well, to make sure we get them back in time before we start planting. To stay up to date, check out our website at croptechinc.com and subscribe to our podcast, Boots in the Field Report. Keep her safe, keep her moving.